Well with your health. I'm Nimit.
I'm Shanna.
Welcome to the Adventist Healthcare New podcast. Today we have an awesome expert to talk to us about Adventist Healthcare Sports Performance Institute and the importance of training as an athlete, no matter what your performance level is. You know, we're talking about this because we learned that athletes who participate in sports performance training programs are 50% less likely to experience injuries compared to those who don't.
I'm interested in this topic because I have a 9-year-old. He plays baseball. He loves baseball. And we want to keep him enjoying it and not get injured. I'm interested in what we're doing in this space and excited to welcome our guest.
Well, great. We have Robert Cambies, who's the Sports Performance Institute Manager with Adventist Healthcare Sports Performance Institute.
The Sports Performance Institute is new. So tell us a little bit about yourselves, Robert, and the Institute.
So my name's Robert Cambies. I've been with Adventist now for about 9 years, and this has been something that we've been working to open since before COVID started. So It's been 6-7 years in the making.
Okay.
We are a sports performance site, so we work with athletes primarily to get them bigger, stronger, faster in whatever facet that they choose to play or choose to do. I have been part of this since the ground up, so I was actually part of the site tours, part of building the equipment, every little piece and decision of getting this thing off the ground. So it's been a fun experience.
That's great. So you were there from start to end, giving input and feedback and creating the perfect aspect of it.
Yep.
And why is this something that's important? And, you know, what's your background?
So my background, I have an undergraduate in athletic training. So that's sports medicine. The way I describe it is usually the person that you see running out on the field when somebody gets injured. So we do a lot of sports rehab. I have a master's in performance enhancement injury prevention. So a lot of biomechanics, exercise physiology, and then a master's in business administration, which is somewhat relevant for the manager side, but not so much the sport performance side.
Well, and this is interesting because I'm like, well, what does sports performance have to do with what we do here at Adventist Healthcare, which is provide the community with excellent, high quality, world-class healthcare. But sports is part of everybody's lives, whether you like it or not. It's on TV. It's just part of our everyday lives. And so staying healthy is really important for that.
Mm-hmm. We're trying to fill a gap in the need for the community. So a lot of healthcare is kind of reactive. So we're trying to be preventative, specifically in the grabbing athletes when they're younger. But we also firmly believe that everybody's an athlete, regardless of age, experience. So we're just trying to make sure people live happy, healthy, long, injury-free lives.
Gotcha.
Right.
So if you're someone like me who loves golf but isn't very good at it and hurts themselves when they play, I could benefit from something like this if I wanted to.
Yeah, of course.
So what are some of the approaches that the Sports Performance Institute take and that are not being offered or different from the traditional gym setting?
One of the things that we highlight is our education level and the fact that we're in conjunction with healthcare. So we have the resources of Adventist Healthcare behind us. 3 of us are athletic trainers by trade. 2 of us are exercise physiologists on site. So all of us have different backgrounds of working with athletes and have at least an undergraduate degree, with many of us holding graduate degrees. Not to put down the professional personal training in traditional gym settings. A lot of them are perfectly smart, educated, hardworking. It's just that it's a higher level of entry.
Yeah. And it's specific to a sport or versus, just wanting to lift weights or something like that. This is very specific to a sport or specific to the athlete's needs.
Yeah, so we tried to be as science-based in our approach as possible. So using research and what we've learned through our education, and we do that in a way that's individualized to each person that walks through the doors in regards to their needs and their goals.
Okay. Are there particular sports you focus on, or is this open to everyone?
So it's open to everyone, but the way that we tried to hire was strategic in that, to try to kind of broad stroke as many different sports as possible.
Okay.
So my background is typically in baseball, football, and rock climbing. But we have other people. There was somebody that emphasizes training for basketball, another in volleyball. We actually have somebody that grew up playing rugby.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, we try to cover a little bit of everything.
Nice.
So can you walk us through a typical program at at Sports Performance Institute? What does a typical program look like there?
So we offer a free 60-minute initial session for everybody. So we do that purposefully so that way we can give people a tour of the site, but to talk about individual goals. So that way we can build programs in alignment with what they need.
Okay.
Part of that like initial session is also screening.
Mm-hmm.
So we do different like movement screens in regards to what sport and what goals they have. But from that, then we talk about like pricing and all that stuff, and then try to develop the program for them and set schedules in accordance with what they need.
Oh, so it's a very personalized approach.
Oh, most definitely.
Okay. What are some common misconceptions about a sports performance institute, or the type of training that would be done there?
One of the misconceptions we get is the idea of what an athlete is.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people think that they need to be like currently performing at the highest level to like come in and train with us. But we try to tailor to like every single level, whether that be elementary, middle, high school, college, weekend warrior, someone just trying to get in general physical shape. Another one of the misconceptions that we have are that training has to be complicated.
Mm-hmm.
So nowadays with social media, there's a lot of like Instagram, TikTok people that follow these trends and make exercises look flashy and fun, which is fine. But a lot of people forget that it doesn't always have to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
The fundamentals of like learning how your body functions and just squatting, deadlifting, all the simple stuff is just as important.
Has a place, and the basics work.
Yeah.
The basics can work.
I think there's a
Been
lot
there
of
for a
information
reason.
out there, and trying to figure out which is the right information and right for you can
Yeah.
be challenging. And I think having that 60-minute assessment with you and knowing their needs is highly valuable, because then you can see exactly what that individual needs at the individual basis and then create a program based on that person.
Yeah, and a huge part of it is education as well. So
Yeah.
some people come in expecting to get all the flashy looking stuff, but you have to say like, hey, this is where you are right now. These are the things that I see that you need to improve to get to your goals. And it may not be in alignment with what you thought, but this is
We can
my-
still, yep.
yeah.
I also like the fact that
opinion
I'm one of those athletes category now too. So I appreciate you
Oh,
sharing that.
that's true. I've never considered myself that. That's
I know.
true.
So I'm glad he said people who just want to get better and be more in shape. And I'm
Yes,
one of those people.
I like
so
that.
we're
I like-
athletes, Shanna.
Oh, damn it. We learned something today.
Exactly. So what are some of the injuries that either people are coming in with or people are trying to avoid while working with your team?
If people come in with injuries, we'd find that out during the initial 60-minute session. If it's something that's like lingering or small that can be dealt with from us, then we're okay with moving forward with the program. But that's also one of the benefits of being part of Adventist Healthcare is we can refer within network and send them to get that fixed before they even start with us.
That's great.
But as far as injuries in regards to different sports, every sport kind of has something that they're more or less like likely to get. You're not really going to avoid injuries 100% if you're
Yeah.
participating in
Let's
sport.
do some of our top, like soccer, for example.
Sure. So I actually, with the background of athletic training, have worked tons and tons of different events. Soccer, a lot of times you see hamstring strains. I'm moving to different sports like basketball. There's a lot of like ankle rolls. A lot of college athletes have like really poor hip mobility across the board. It's just not addressed as something.
Okay.
Yeah. I used to play soccer in high school and I had a lot of hamstring
Yep, there you go.
issues back then.
Speaking of injuries, why is it important to focus on sports performance? So they'll come to you not injured. How does sports performance help them? Not only they'll get better in their chosen sport, but what else does it do?
That would create durability in them. We train full ranges of motion and put them in situations that would be relevant to their sport, but also in relevance to like everyday life. So a lot of athletes, if all they do is play one particular sport, they're so used to those movement patterns.
Yeah.
But as soon as they get put outside of what they're used to, they're not as durable. So that's where a lot of injuries come from.
Okay.
So we try to train everything and make sure that they're functional in full range of motion.
So what are some of the common pressures athletes are facing, nowadays when they come to you?
Especially young.
Yeah.
So many parents nowadays will like try to force their athletes or their children into the next level. And that's coming from like coaches, parents, other kids. They always want to perform better, be stronger, be faster. So high school kids want to play in college kids want to play in the pros. So they just keep pushing and kind of ignore a lot of things and end up getting
And
hurt.
and end up getting hurt. Yeah.
So beyond the physical health, how do you support in terms of mental health being and well-being in general? Because I'm sure there's a lot of pressure for them, right? From their parents, from their coaches, school, and just being better in their sport they're playing.
Mm-hmm. So I think one of the big things that we do is create the accountability. Mm-hmm. So from a young age, if the kids are like youth athletes and they want to try to get better, creating the accountability of showing up and putting in the effort to try to get to that next level prepares them for the next level, essentially.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of youth sports out there, a lot of, and in this area, it's competitive. So what can parents do to help their young athletes in navigating that sort of world and avoiding injury?
Try to give them as many resources as possible in a way that doesn't seem like they're forcing their children to go down an avenue that they don't want to. That could look like signing up for sessions with us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like enrolling them in different sports, different activities, all sorts of different avenues of like physical activity.
Yeah.
So for what the parents can do to help their young athletes is to help them with like sleep, nutrition, provide them with like setting an example, essentially.
Yeah, being a role model.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of parents you'll see on the sideline are like ex-athletes and they're not taking care of themselves, whether that be like physically, mentally, whatever.
Yeah.
And the kids see that. So if you're eating the same meals with your kids and it's healthy meals, or if you're like setting a bedtime, going to sleep, like creating routines and like showing them that you can do it too.
Yeah.
It's a key piece.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you address any of that during the sports performance about nutrition or, just daily habits at all? Do you help in any of those areas?
So we're not like nutritionists or
Right.
dietitians, so we can't write full on
Yes.
like diets for them.
Yes.
But we do answer questions to the best of our ability of like all the different aspects of what they need to do to get the best out of what we're giving them.
Okay.
So I always liken it to learning a language. If you're like going to class once a week, learning Spanish, French, whatever it may be, like you can learn the language. But if you're going to a place that speaks the language and you're surrounded by it all the time, you're going to learn it much faster.
Mm-hmm.
So if you come to us once a week and train for an hour, you'll see benefits, but you also have to like
Do the work
invest.
at
Do your
home.
work too.
Yeah. Got to
Yeah.
do the work at home. And that's not just doing maybe like the exercises. It's getting enough sleep, getting good nutrition, anything else that can just help them perform better.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you said sleep and nutrition because I think, those go kind of on the back burner at times, especially sleep. People, compromise sleep in terms of maybe they wake up early to work out or go for a late night run. But I think having that 7 to 9 hours of sleep is crucial for your body to recover even after or during every day, let
Yeah.
alone on workout days.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What would you say to any of our listeners that are parents, that's a coach, or an athlete themselves, and they might be hesitant about investing in it or wondering more, maybe I should. What can you say here to encourage that it's worth the time and the investment?
From a competitive standpoint, if you're going to get to the next level, unfortunately, a lot of times other parents, other kids are investing in things like this. And if we're out there working, there's somebody working just as hard.
Yeah.
From a health standpoint, which we like to emphasize more, is taking care of your body, even if it's to try to get to the next level in sports. Like you're still creating those habits for longevity and you're like setting yourself up for success in old age.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's good.
I think it's great because I think there's resources out there for people to use. And, at times parents may be confused or not sure what to do with their child or maybe wondering why other kids are performing better. And competition's so high. I'm sure athletes are just, overwhelmed too from their side. So giving any support or resources in terms of physical, mental, I think it's amazing that you provide that.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Rob, for coming. Is there anything else you want to add about the Sports Performance Institute?
I mean, we have a great team.
Yeah.
We'd love to see you out there.
Wonderful. Thank
Great.
you. Well, we're
Excellent.
excited that we have this new member to the Adventist Healthcare family.
I just want to thank Robert for coming here and speaking about this great topic. To learn more about the Adventist Healthcare Sports Performance Institute services, please visit adventistsbi.com. We would also love to hear from you. You can let us know if you like our podcast by leaving a rating or review, or you can also email us at podcast@adventisthealthcare.com and let us know what healthcare topics you would like to know more about. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast so you get all new episodes. Thank you and be well.